I was so nervous that my throat was dry and my hands were shaking. It got worse with each step I took, and I wanted to run away terribly. But I still went up to the prettiest girl in school and handed her a bouquet of flowers. Roxy looked down at me in disbelief and burst out laughing. You've got some growing to do before you can hit on me. All our classmates saw her reject me. I trudged along the school hallway and everyone pointed at me and laughed. I hated my height. Why was I so unlucky? Hello, I'm Tobey. As you've probably realized by now, everyone made fun of me because of my height. One day, I decided things had to change and asked my parents to transfer me to another school. During the summer holidays, I discovered rap music. I started writing poetry and dreamed of becoming a famous rapper. Going to a new school was scary, but I decided that I wouldn't let anyone bully me anymore. I came up to my new classroom and suddenly bumped into a tall guy. He was filming something on his phone and hadn't noticed me at all. At first, he didn't even understand who he had bumped into, but then he looked down and saw me. I thought he was going to laugh at me and prepare to stand up for myself. But then the bell rang, and we just walked into the classroom. The guy I ran into was called Patrick. He kept staring at me in class, and during the break, he came up to me and suggested something. I post videos on TikTok. Before the lesson, I upload the video in which I'm bumping into you, and it has already got a lot of views. My audience likes you, and everyone is asking about you in the comments. Do you want to film videos with me? At first, I hesitated. I was self-conscious about my height, and I was afraid that everyone would start making fun of me again. But Patrick convinced me to give it a try, and the next day, we got to work. We played up our height difference. The videos turned out funny, and the audience loved them. Soon, the whole school started talking about me. I was shocked. I used to be bullied, but now everyone admired my acting talent. Bit by bit, I stopped feeling bad because of my height. I even grew to like being short, and it became my thing. One day, Patrick and I decided it was time to film a prank. As we were passing by the school parking lot, we suddenly noticed a new car. Our gym teacher had been boasting about buying one, and we realized that was probably it. Nobody liked that teacher, and we decided to prank him. We drove to a supermarket, came back, and smeared his car with mayonnaise and broken eggs. Then we covered it with toilet paper and recorded it all on video. It was hilarious. We had to skip the first classes and only came in time for biology. It turned out that we had a new teacher. I was in a great mood that day and immediately came up with another idea for a prank. I asked my classmates to play along and sat in front of the class. When Mrs. Bell walked into the classroom, she immediately noticed me. Because of my height, I looked younger than my age, and she asked me if I was in the wrong class. I'm in the 5th grade and I got lost. Would you walk me to class? My classmates were choking with laughter, but Mrs. Bell did not notice anything. She took my hand and led me towards the door. I was barely holding back laughter. Walking down the hallway, I noticed Patrick sneaking behind us and filming everything on video. I was already anticipating what a great video we would make when Mrs. Bell suddenly stopped. She looked out the window, screamed, and suddenly rushed out of school. She didn't let go of my hand, so I had to run with her. Soon we were in the school parking lot, right in front of the gym teacher's car, or more precisely, Mrs. Bell's car. We had made a mistake. Damn it! When she saw what had become of her car, she paled and freaked out. My car! Oh, my car! Who did this? While she was staring at her art, I quietly left. In the evening, Patrick and I edited the new prank video and posted it on TikTok. I decided to take a chance and did something. I had grown tired of posting videos on Patrick's TikTok and created my own. A part of our audience immediately subscribed to me. I liked filming funny videos, but still dreamed of becoming a rapper. So I shot a video of myself rapping and posted it. I was so nervous, but I was hoping that my audience would like it. The next day, I was called to the principal's office in the morning. When I walked in, I immediately noticed Mrs. Bell. She looked furious. Next to her was Patrick, who was being scolded by the principal. At first, I thought that Mrs. Bell had found out about my real age. But what was Patrick doing there then? Things turned out to be worse than I thought. Mrs. Bell somehow found out that we had been the ones to get her car dirty. Heck, but how? There were no cameras in that part of the parking lot and no one had seen us. Had she seen the videos on TikTok? No, that couldn't be it. She was too strict and serious to watch TikToks. This is unacceptable. You both will be punished. First, wash Mrs. Bell's car until it shines. And then, you will do all her errands for 2 weeks and clean up the biology classroom. We had to wash the car that same day. It took us until late in the evening, and at home, I got scolded by my parents because the principal had called them. They grounded me and forbade me from making videos. But of course, I wasn't going to listen to my parents. When they were at work, I recorded rap videos and posted them on my TikTok. Patrick and I even fought because of it. He wanted to keep filming pranks, and I was no longer interested in that. One day, we were cleaning up the biology classroom and finally had a bad quarrel. "Nobody wants to hear you rap. If it wasn't for me, no one would know who you are, shorty." That was a low blow, and I got really mad. "Well, Draff, you only got so many followers because of me." From that day on, we stopped talking. We even cleaned the classroom separately. Patrick was doing it just because he had to, but I wanted to earn Mrs. Bell's forgiveness. I helped her prepare for practical classes, took care of documents, and even cleaned the terrarium. In the evenings, I continued to film rapping videos, but my audience didn't like them. I lost almost half of my followers, and that really worried me. Maybe Patrick was right, and no one liked my rap music. I was feeling quite down. One day, I brought the school documentation to Mrs. Bell and decided to wait for her near the classroom. High school girls were standing nearby and discussing a biology test. I came closer and suddenly noticed the cheat sheets on their legs. They were attached with elastic bands and hidden under their skirts, but thanks to my height, I could see them perfectly well. When Mrs. Bell came in, I ratted the girls out. I would have never snitched to a teacher before, but I still wanted to make amends. Mrs. Bell took away their cheat sheets and then suddenly mentioned me to come to her. You'll never guess what she offered me. "I have a friend who is a vocal coach. He helps all sorts of singers. I could introduce you to him. He could teach you how to become a better rapper." To say that I was shocked would be to say nothing. How did she even know that I rapped? Did she watch TikToks after all? When I asked her about it, Mrs. Bell said that her daughter had shown her my prank and rapping videos. Of course, I agreed to study with a vocal coach and came to the first lesson the very next day. Mrs. Wood turned out to be a real professional. After listening to me perform, he said that I had talent, but it needed to be developed. Mr. Wood came up with a study plan, pointed out my mistakes, and we got to work. We met 3 times a week, and I used every spare moment to practice at home. Mr. Wood said I was improving by leaps and bounds. One day, he told me good news during our lesson. A famous singer was looking for a rapper for her new song. "I used to work with Vita, and now she has come to me for help. I'm going to recommend you to her." I was left speechless. Wow, to record a song with a celebrity? I never would have even dreamed of it before. When Mr. Wood introduced me to Vita, I was trembling with nerves. She was on a whole nother level. I thought she would be arrogant, but she turned out to be friendly. We found it easy to work together, and it didn't take us long to record a cool song. Immediately after its release, my TikTok became popular again. A ton of people followed me, and you know what? Everyone praised my talent and commented that I was doing great. Shortly after the release of the song, Vita and I were invited to perform at a concert. When I found out that I would have to go on stage and sing in front of an audience, I was stunned. It was one thing to rap in front of a camera, and quite another to do it in front of real people. Shortly before the concert, Patrick came up to me. "I'm sorry for what I said back then. You're really cool, man." I was no longer angry at him, and we became friends again. Patrick was there for me before the concert. I was very scared. I invited my parents, Mrs. Bell, and of course, Mr. Wood to watch me perform. Before going on stage, Vita helped me calm down, and we did great. When everyone I invited came up to congratulate me on my success, I suddenly noticed a familiar-looking girl next to Mrs. Bell. My heart skipped a beat, and then started pounding like crazy. It was Roxy, the girl from my previous school who had turned me down. What was she doing there? "Toby, this is my daughter, Roxy." What? Her daughter? I was shocked and didn't even know how to act. But then Roxy took me aside herself. "I'm sorry, Toby. I was so stupid. I've been watching your videos for a long time and I really like you. Let's forget about the whole thing and talk more often." I felt so confused, I just stayed silent like a fool and only kept nodding. From that day on, we started to see each other more often. We walked around the city, sat in cafes, and went to the cinema. Roxy was very pretty, and other guys were constantly staring at her. They were jealous of me, and I was glad that such an amazing girl was next to me. I spent all the money I got for the performance on her. I bought her flowers, stuffed toys, and sweets. One day, Roxy dragged me into a cool boutique and asked me to buy her an expensive dress. I couldn't refuse her and spent the last money I had earned. Then, Roxy suddenly asked me to film a video with her when we were sitting in a park. "I really want to be in some of your videos. By the way, I'm very photogenic." I would have done anything for her, and we filmed a video together the next day. It turned out fine, but Roxy was overacting. Of course, I didn't tell her about it as to not hurt her feelings. One day, Patrick didn't come to school because he was sick. I decided to visit him and went to his house in the evening. His mom opened the door and said that Patrick and his girlfriend were in the living room. Patrick had a girlfriend? I wondered why he hadn't told me about her. I came into the living room and froze at what I saw. Patrick was hugging my Roxy. I'm so sick of him. I have to constantly pretend that I like that shorty and not his fame. By the way, I've already appeared in one of his videos. I am sure that I will soon have a whole army of followers. Patrick smiled, pulled Roxy in, and kissed her. I felt sick. I left the house on stiff legs and wandered aimlessly around the city. I had been betrayed by my friend and the girl I loved. I was such an idiot. How could I have believed that Roxy really liked me? I was devastated and didn't leave the house or answer the phone for several days. I started feeling self-conscious because of my height again and was down in the dumps. One day, I was sitting in my room when the doorbell rang. It was Roxy. Where have you been? I was so worried about you. About me or my fame? Roxy turned white as snow. I told her that I had overheard her talk with Patrick, and she immediately started to beg for my forgiveness. She tried to convince me that I had got it all wrong. At one point, I was almost ready to forgive her like a fool, but I still had some pride left, so I slammed the door right in Roxy's face. The next day, I suddenly got a call from the production company. They suggested I record a solo song. It was crazy. Was I dreaming? My mood instantly improved, and I went to the studio. On the way, I was so lost in thought that I didn't notice anything around me. Then, a cyclist suddenly came around the corner, saw me, and hit the brakes. They lost control of the bicycle and crashed it to the ground. I bent down to help them and realized it was a girl. Sorry, I got lost in thought and stepped on the bike lane. I'm sorry, I should have been more careful. When she got up, it turned out that we were the same height. That was very unusual. I was so used to being shorter than everyone. I also liked that she didn't recognize me either as a rapper or as a prankster. I was running late, so I only had time to find out that her name was Mila and asked her for her phone number. In the studio, I signed a contract with the company and started recording a song. In the evening, I called Mila. We started to see each other often and talked a lot, but I was in no hurry to tell her about myself. She didn't know who I was, so she was interested in me and not my popularity. It wasn't until we kissed and started dating that I told her the truth about everything. Mila was delighted, but unlike Roxy, she did not ask to appear in one of my videos. When I released my solo track, Vita prompted it, and my popularity increased. People began to recognize me, and some of my fans even asked me to take a selfie with them for an autograph. I couldn't believe that it was really happening. How could a short loser like me achieve all that? My dream of becoming a famous rapper had come true, and I had a girlfriend who really loved me. But, it only takes 1 second for things to change. Everything couldn't be that perfect, and one day, my bubble burst. The producer decided to release a video for my solo song, and I said Mila should star in it. By the day of the filming, we came to the set, and a cameraman suddenly approached us. He looked at Mila and grinned. Oh, I remember you! You're that girl that came here all the time and dreamed of starring somewhere. Mila laughed nervously. You must have confused me with someone else. At first, I believed that, but then other people on set started to recognize Mila as well. All of them could not be mistaken. So Mila really had come there often. But if that was true, then she must have known who I was. She was just like Roxy. She was simply a better actress. I had really believed that at least one person liked me for who I was. So you lied to me? Mila looked at me pleadingly. I'm so sorry, yes. I lied about not knowing you. I'm your fan, and I didn't know how else to get you to notice me. But I only need you. If it hadn't been for Roxy and Patrick's betrayal, I would have probably believed her. But now, I was afraid of getting hurt again. Do you think I should believe Mila? Or is she just like Roxy?